He was the nightmare your parents warned you about, the king of darkness, the master of shock, the performer who blurred the line between terror and entertainment. With a face smeared in makeup, snakes around his neck, and guillotines on stage, he redefined rock performance. But behind the theatrics was a man few truly knew. The mask was both armor and prison. While the world saw chaos, Vincent Furnier, the shy boy from Phoenix, saw survival. Fame immortalized him, but it could not shield him from the scars beneath the persona. The boy behind the mask. Before Alice Cooper, there was Vincent, a frail child growing up in a quiet, sun-drenched suburb of Phoenix, Arizona. The son of a deeply religious preacher, Vincent's world was structured, moral, and restrictive. Chronic illnesses left him bedridden, lonely, and painfully aware of his differences. While other children played outside, Vincent read horror comics and imagined a world beyond the walls of his room. Emotional isolation compounded his physical suffering. Though his parents loved him, their strictness and emotional distance deepened his sense of being unseen. From these early experiences, the seeds of Alice Cooper were planted. Music as Salvation High School brought Vincent two revelations that would shape his life: music and performance. Alongside friends, he formed a band called the Earwigs, which eventually evolved into Alice Cooper. This transformation was more than cosmetic, it was survival. Alice became a shield, a persona that could embody fearlessness and chaos. The stage allowed Vincent to escape the fragile, sickly boy trapped inside. The louder Alice roared, the quieter Vincent could be off stage, hiding behind a mask of confidence. But the character was not a lie. It was a coping mechanism born from trauma, a complex armor that both protected and imprisoned him. The birth of Alice Cooper. Alice Cooper was never simply a stage persona. He was the embodiment of Vincent's repressed fear, anger, and longing to be seen. The makeup, the theatrics, the guillotine, everything was symbolic, a channel for pain he could not voice. Vincent once confessed, "I created Alice to deal with the parts of me I didn't understand." On stage, Alice was violent, theatrical, and unhinged. Off stage, Vincent remained introspective, fragile, and uncertain. The mask freed him, but also trapped him. Fame intensified the divide between persona and man. Fans adored Alice, yet no one asked about Vincent's struggles, the cost hidden behind the horror show. The dark side of fame. As Alice Cooper's fame exploded in the 1970s, the divide between Vincent and his creation deepened. The world saw snakes, blood, and screaming fans, but behind the scenes, Vincent spiraled. The very persona that had saved him as a child now became a source of pressure and peril. Exhaustive tours, constant recording, and the expectation of performance became unbearable. To cope, Vincent turned to alcohol. What started as survival escalated into obsession. Nights of drinking, aggression, and chaos punctuated his life. Fame brought admiration, but also isolation, and the man behind the mask began to vanish under the weight of his own legend. Addiction and survival. Vincent's relationship with alcohol was never casual. Each drink became a weapon against anxiety, fear, and memories he could not escape. Friends recall nights of terrifying intensity, moments where the line between performance and self-destruction blurred. Recovery was possible, but the scars remained. He learned that survival required discipline, love, and faith, yet even these could not erase the trauma that had shaped him. Addiction was not a choice. It was a consequence of childhood pain magnified by the pressures of superstardom. The cost of survival was lifelong, leaving Vincent haunted even as Alice Cooper continued to thrill audiences worldwide. The lonely road. Even in sobriety, loneliness lingered. Vincent learned that fame could not replace connection. His marriage endured, his children grew, but his internal battles persisted. The quieter moments, the house emptied, the stage dark, revealed the weight of decades spent performing, pretending, and protecting. The boy from Phoenix had become a man, trapped in a role he no longer fully controlled. The very mask that once offered freedom now created distance, separating him from the people he loved. Survival had come at a cost: isolation, the lingering presence of trauma, and the quiet knowledge that some pain cannot be erased by applause or accolades. The burden of identity. The blurring of Vincent and Alice reached a peak in the height of fame. The persona was both savior and captor. On stage, he was unstoppable, theatrical, feared, and adored. Off stage, he was Vincent, grappling with insecurities, guilt, and memories that refused to fade. The duality became exhausting, a constant tension between performance and self. Friends and family observed the toll of living as both man and myth. Every show drained him. Every audience cheered for Alice while Vincent silently endured. Over time, the performance of survival became as demanding as the performance on stage, a reminder that immortality in rock does not shield a human heart. Aging and reflection. At 77, time has changed everything. The makeup no longer hides the years, the pyrotechnics are slower, the crowds smaller. Health concerns and fatigue have replaced boundless energy, and the once invincible performer is now human, fragile. Trembling hands replace fearless gestures, reflection replaces adrenaline. The public sees a legend, Vincent feels a man reckoning with mortality. Fame ensured immortality, but it did not prevent loneliness. The mask, once a protective shield, now sometimes feels like a barrier. Even within family, quiet moments reveal the depth of his struggle. Time has forced introspection, and with it, sorrow emerges alongside gratitude. The price of survival. The story of Alice Cooper is not only the story of rock theatrics, it is a tale of survival. Vincent has endured what few could: childhood trauma, chronic illness, addiction, and the unrelenting pressure to perform a persona larger than life. Each triumph was shadowed by private battles, each applause balanced against personal cost. Love, faith, and family provided anchors, but they could not erase the past. Survival carries a hidden price: isolation, regret, and lingering scars. Vincent's life is a testament to endurance, yet it is also a reminder that even the strongest masks cannot fully conceal human vulnerability. Legacy and loneliness. Alice Cooper is immortal in rock history, yet immortality cannot erase loneliness. Vincent shaped generations of musicians and fans, creating a mythos that will endure, but his private battles often went unseen. The years lost to fear and addiction linger in quiet moments, in reflections on choices and sacrifices made. Relationships were strained, private joys postponed, and battles fought alone. The public witnessed genius and chaos. The private world witnessed survival at a high cost. Fame provided recognition but could not shield him from the human condition. The legacy is monumental, but the loneliness remains, quietly persistent behind the stage lights. The final act. The final act for Vincent Furnier is not on stage. It is in quiet reflection, in honesty, solitude, and acceptance. The lights have dimmed, the snakes stored away, the guillotines silent. Yet the performance continues, a performance of survival, resilience, and reckoning with the life behind the mask. At 77, he confronts mortality, the cost of fame, and the enduring presence of trauma. Alice Cooper, the icon, remains immortal, but Vincent, the man, confronts the truth of decades spent living between persona and self. Survival has been achieved, but the heartache lingers, quietly, endlessly, behind the mask. A life behind the mask. Vincent Damon Furnier's story is one of duality, endurance, and heartbreak. He created Alice Cooper to survive, and in doing so became a legend. But the legend was never the man. The boy from Phoenix carried fear, pain, and isolation into every performance. Through music, theatrics, and sheer determination, he transformed trauma into art, chaos into entertainment. Yet the cost was profound. Identity fractured, addiction endured, and decades of private suffering remained hidden from public view. The mask saved him, yet it also confined him. At the edge of spectacle and survival, Vincent stands as a man, finally confronting the truths behind the legend.